I'm well versed in this because of the lady friend. See that? There was a involuntary Trump movement for audio listeners. That was just the weave that I was doing with the hands. It's like I'm pulling something in and then I'm flicking it away. This way, that way. Getting out of hand with the Trump stuff. But so these reality shows where you'll see people getting married when they first meet. You'll see people getting married for green cards. See people, whatever has to do with love is pushed on AB or TLC and whatever else, right? A&E, I don't know. Women's television, A&E and TLC, murder, marriages, reality shows combined. No matter what it is, somebody's getting murdered, a crime scene is being investigated, or somebody's marrying somebody they don't really know, likely from another country. That's the women's content now. And there's a show called, let me read this, called Love is Blind. I'm not sure what this one is. I can imagine that it's another marry a person you just met. Or maybe it's blind people marrying each other. I don't know. But this is posted by a woman named Alana Mastrangelo. She's a Breitbart journalist. And she writes, in Love is Blind Season 8, Sarah left Ben at the altar because he didn't have an opinion on BLM or the COVID vaccine, and because his church was too traditional and didn't talk enough about LGBTQ. So let's play a bit. I don't know if it's going to get taken down, but it's an off-screen recording. I don't know. I don't know how tightly they're running this show.
We'll talk about that.
Just trying to frig with the volume here. Don't mind me. We need to, there we go. So I'll cue it up for you here. She's at the altar, for the audio listeners, standing across from this guy, and she's about to tell him why she doesn't want to marry him, essentially.
Are you okay?
She's walking away from the...
See me in the back.
She's walking away from the altar now. Laughing, fake laughing. Well, the song plays. It's emotional.
Oh, I'm fine.
So what they do in these shows, and I've seen a bunch of them, is they set it up as the woman's never wrong. No matter what the scenario is, the woman cannot be wrong because her feelings are what matter most. It is then justified by therapists, show hosts, or family member, whoever. Unless a woman gets caught cheating on one of these shows, it's going to be pushed from a female perspective because that's who the audience is. And the audience, this being women, does not want to feel like they're being mansplained to. Therefore, anything that possibly could run through their mind, can we put feta cheese on this pizza? Can I wear these extremely baggy pants that are up to my rib cage? There is no in these shows. So this girl's gonna go back and she's laughing like everything's okay, even though she's giving up marriage, which she obviously wanted. Why else would she join this show? Now begins the phase of let's tell her she was right, even though she's insane.
I'm fine. Get me out of here. You guys, really, I'm okay. I don't know. I feel kind of numb.
I'm okay, guys, really. This is hilarious. I'm good. I'm numb.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because it's sad. Like, I was really excited about Ben. And I'm just, like, he's such a great person. I just, like... What?
Here it comes. Should I say it?
I just hope I made the right decision. Hi, guys. Oh, my goodness.
Love you.
We love you.
Ben's hugging, I don't know, his family members. He says he wants to talk to her. He doesn't seem to really understand. And now it's cutting back to this girl talking with her mother and her sister, who surely won't support no matter what she says.
Yeah. Like, I remember, like, I asked him about, like, Black Lives Matter, and I'm no expert. But, like, when I asked him about it, he was like, I guess I never really thought too much about it. that affected me, especially in our own city. Like, how could it not? How did it not make you think about something? I asked him to, like, what his church's views are, and he said he didn't know. And so then I watched a sermon online.
From his church?
About, sexual identity.
Okay.
And it was traditional. I told that to Ben. And
his thoughts on it.
He doesn't really have much to say about it, you know? I want him to think about that stuff. Sometimes I did wonder if it was surface, fun, carefree love that we had. Equality, religion, the vaccine.
So here we have a girl who, there's only two options in this. They're desperate or they want fame. Let's assume it's because they're desperate. That would be the more tolerable, the more altruistic reason to go through this. They're desperate for love and marriage. And perhaps they're going into it pure of heart, right? As much as you can. And then to say, I don't want to marry you because you don't, agree with Black Lives Matter, or you have views on this vaccine, or your church isn't gay enough. Now, you might have said, well, what if she goes the other way on these topics? What if that's what she means? You might have been able to say that if she didn't say, his church is traditional. I mean, it's a church. I mean, what are you expecting? Like, his church actually believes in what churches believe in, and they faux pas the word traditional to be in place of what they mean to be bigoted or wrong, which is what they're trying to say. This church has the same beliefs that it's always had, and therefore it's bigoted because it hasn't updated its terms to the liberal lexicon. And then she adds in the vaccine at the end. Now, we can see the insanity in this woman as men and clearly pinpoint that and point it out as a girl this guy should have obviously avoided. And this is something they're teaching women. And you can say that, okay, yeah, women can think for themselves and they're just presenting how this person feels. It might be that if it wasn't every single instance of a show like this. So, for example, if you watch the NFL Network, it's going to be telling you that the NFL is good all the time, right? It's never going to say, well, the NFL, the concussions, financial opportunities for people, medical care after the retirement. It's not going to say that stuff. TLC and these shows that are promoted worldwide on different networks as well, they're not going to say, progressivism, there's another side to it. They always push towards, you should leave your religion to make this woman happy. You should no matter which religion it is, by the way. They faux pas masculinity in any religion, but they don't want to mention it unless it's Christianity, by the way. So that's what they're doing here. Your church isn't good enough because it doesn't like transgender people, or it doesn't think that men are women. This guy's not... He doesn't even have a negative opinion about BLM, but the fact that he didn't have an opinion and didn't wish to discuss it, or at least never thought about it, that's also unacceptable. You have to be pro-BLM, the vaccine, etc. This is thinking... I mean, this was probably filmed a year or two ago, if it's being aired now. This is thinking that's obviously going out the window, but they still want to push it on the women. I mean, as you can see, what are the categories we look at here? University students, hardcore, lonely, boomer liberals, and the women that, unfortunately, you've taken away all the other things that they have to watch with hyper gayness, so you try to bait them back in with matrimony and heterosexual relationships, and then you say, actually, but we're still going to layer this with progressivism. That's what all they're constantly pushing. Now, there is another side to this for the guy, which we can criticize, because that's what we do here. The guy, I don't sympathize with him whatsoever. This woman asks you, what do you think about BLM? Yeah, why don't you have an opinion on something that people donated $80 billion to, burned down cities, affected legislation, was in your face every single day? Why don't you have an opinion on COVID-19 vaccines? Did you take it or did you not take it? Did you get side effects? Do you agree with forcing people to take it? These are like, what do you care about if you don't care about these things? Why don't you know what your church believes in? You go to the church, don't you? So on one hand, this girl's insane, but on the other hand, this guy's a bit of a retard in the sense that he doesn't know anything about anything, and he'd just rather not talk about it. When was the last time, if you come across a group of guys who are just like acting like teenage girls saying, why do you care about that? Like, that's kind of a ridiculous guy that you don't want to be friends with, and he's a dumbass, right? Like, you can expect that from like jocks in high school, and I played sports in high school. My friends weren't morons who didn't have opinions. Like, you expect that from your stereotypical jock or some guy who thinks he's really, really cool. But in reality, you'd think he's an idiot because he doesn't care about the world around him, that, especially if they're saying BLM had a big effect in his city, that he's got no opinion on it. Well, he's just burying his head in the sand. So it's really an attack on women from both sides on these shows, because you've got the crazy aspect of it where it's like you must be progressive or you will die. But on the other hand, it's giving you the worst example of men it could possibly give you, with guys who are basically, you know, and the guy here, and he's white, by the way, he's an ape with a language. He's white. You can't say anything. You can make ape comparisons if he's white. Gotta be Caucasian. You can't tell me that these shows are good for women. You can't tell me that from any angle other than saying pursuing marriage is good. Is there, you know, a shred of positivity in it? Because you can hide behind this idea that they're just showing you all these people, but I promise you, they interview hundreds of people, and the people who are the most insane, or at least portray themselves as the most insane, will get the roles, because that's who ends up always being on the shows.